Hi guys, welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be ranking every single map in Garden Warfare 2, and just to clarify, there will be no nighttime variations ranked, as they're just the same thing as the daytime variants. So if you didn't know, Time Park and Great White North have nighttime variants. I'm pretty sure those are the only ones in the game, so yeah, I will not be ranking those. Anyway, with that being said, this is my ranking of all of the Garden Warfare 2 maps. So coming in at last place, at number 17, we have Moonbase Z. I really dislike anti-gravity maps in this game. It makes melee characters such as chompers basically useless, and because it's always so open, especially on the first objective, it makes snipers really good and annoying to play against. And even the inside parts of this map aren't even that fun to play in. The last game mode kinda sucks. I find that the plants always win it. The one with the balls you have to push in the holes. I couldn't have given a worse explanation to that, to be fair. The only point that I really like is the one with the massive drill in it. I think it is the third to last one, or the fourth one. But it's still kind of hard for the plants to push. And that goes for basically every single objective in this map. The plants have quite a hard time pushing, and the looks and the style of this map I'm not even a big fan of. Like, it's alright, but it's not great. But yeah, overall I never have a good time playing this map, and I might even go as far to leave the game if it comes up on the map selection. So coming in at number 16, at second to last place, we have Time Park. I know you might be surprised to hear that this map isn't dead last, but I'll come back as to why after I've had a quick rant about it. So, we all know, whichever team gets in the middle section just completely wins the game, because every time the other team comes out of the portals to get to the middle, they will just instantly die. The middle section is just really crammed, so snipers are practically useless, which makes melee characters like superheroes just dominate alongside with pea shooters. So yeah, you can just tell how fun it is to play on this map. But since I'm ranking the maps on all the game modes that you can play them on, I think that the other two can actually be okay sometimes. Also, the visuals are better than Moonbase Z in most places, so yeah. So at number 15, we have Lunar Landing. Well, who is expecting this? Another anti-gravity map which is just too open like Moonbase Z. However, I'll give it that it does work better than Moonbase Z, as you're not pushing to get to an objective, but just flying around trying to kill people. Well, unless you're playing Gnome Bomb or Suburbination, which is just a chore to play through on this map, and can be really tedious to grab the Gnome Bomb from a high place, for example. The inside section where the gravity is normal is too small and not even that great, but I do think the aesthetics are a little bit better than Moonbase Z. So in number 14, I have Boney Island. This map is a big step up from the last entry, and from here on out it is pretty hard to rank the maps. I don't think this map is bad, it's just sort of mediocre at best. The worst thing about Boney Island, and the reason I put it here in the first place, is the fact that it can get a bit crowded in the volcano sometimes, and a bit like Time Park, everyone is so drawn to the middle of it, and yeah, it makes the gameplay quite repetitive. I do like the forest and the desert locations to the side, but however, hardly anyone goes there unless it's a game of Suburbination or Gnome Bomb, which once again makes this map quite a lot more interesting. In number 13, we have Zen Peak. In my opinion, this map being a Chinese or Japanese based map, had the chance to be one of the coolest looking and best layout maps in the entire game, but instead, all we got was rocks. So yeah, it's a little bit too open for my liking, and of course the rocks are a little bit excessive. I mean, they're literally just everywhere. If it isn't buildings, it's rocks. And speaking of the buildings, there's little to no interesting ones that you can interact with. There's about one house in the middle and that you can go through, and that's it. Except for there's a few houses in the outskirts of the map, but literally nothing happens there. Oh, I guess there are those gongs. Actually, the only things that the houses are used for is pea shooters and soldiers camping on top of them, which definitely can be annoying. I do say the one thing that I like about this map is that the fights are very spread out due to this map having no apparent middle aside from that house in the middle, which no one really goes into. Also, the waterfall secret is pretty cool, except for when people use it to get away from fights, but joke's on them, they can't get back up without killing themselves. Who's laughing now, huh? So coming in at number 12, I've got Sandy Sands. This map is just fine really, nothing exactly good, nothing bad, just more fun on Suburbanation than Team Vanquish. I do like the aesthetic of it, especially the parts with palm trees and water flowing through. Sandstorm I think is more annoying than cool, but I don't hate it that much, just quite an alright map. And yeah, that's all I have to say honestly. So coming in at number 11, we have Walnut Hills. This is the only map that is taken directly from Garden Warfare 1 unchanged, and they decided to bring back this. I've just recently learned that the community voted this in because somehow I didn't catch on to that, even though I was playing Garden Warfare 2 when this map came about, and I didn't vote on it either. To be fair, back in the day I probably would have voted on it because for some reason I liked Walnut Hills back in the day, but now I've realised it definitely isn't the best Gardens and Graveyards map in Garden Warfare 1. It's not bad, but man, I'm still mad that we didn't get Main Street or Driftwood Shores. Anyway, this map probably would have been in the top 5, but they decided not to include any of the new characters, so it's basically like playing a worse version of Garden Warfare 1, as the graphics are just worse and that's it. At least we get to play the new variants for the original 8 classes, but I mean, it's still pretty underwhelming. I can understand why they didn't add characters like Super Brains and Citron because they're insane movement capabilities, and the map doesn't really have any high points, and the gaps between points are quite small, but the other new characters, they should definitely be playable. And like I mentioned in my Garden Warfare 1 maps ranking, the final objective can literally be cheated by the press of a single button. So we've made it to the top 10 now, and at number 10 I have Time Park. This was a very hard map for me to rank as there's just so much to take into consideration, but I decided that it belongs almost in the middle of the list. I don't really like the first objective aesthetic wise, but other than that it's an alright objective. The second point, the dinosaur land or whatever, is quite annoying in my opinion, and it's hard for the zombies to push from here. And yeah, it's mostly because the part where you have to get out of the volcano, the plants just kind of camp there. But the harder point for the zombies to get through is definitely the next one, set in ancient Egypt. I don't know why, but whenever I play this map, this is the point where the zombies never get past. Anyway, I'm gonna stop saying that I like the aesthetic for this map now because I like the aesthetic for the rest of the objectives. And speaking of which, the next 2 objectives are both just fine and they're fair on both sides, which is cool. But the next objective is actually what sells this map for me, believe it or not. This is probably my second favourite minigame at the end out of all of the turf maps. It does get a bit annoying and spammy when you escort the payload into the castle, but I guess you could see it as chaotic. I also really like the design for the medieval times, and I really wish we could have seen a medieval themed map like the rest of the time periods got in the game. And lastly, I really respect the amount of detail that they put into this map. I love all of the hidden passageways and details. At number 9, I have the Backyard Battleground. I bet you weren't expecting to see this map here, but yeah, here it is. Now, just to clarify, the Backyard Battleground I'm ranking here is not the usual main lobby one. It's the version that they created for Capture the Taco game mode in the Town Hall. Like this game's Walnut Hills, I've only played this map a handful of times, so my ranking might not be that accurate. You can only play this map when playing Capture the Taco, which only shows up for like a week a year. So yeah, that's why it's this low, since you can't play Team Vanquish or any of the other game modes. This map looks good, it's actually one of the best looking maps, but it's quite small and doesn't have many vantage points. It's still quite cool that we actually get to play in the Backyard Battleground though. We've now hit the middle of the list, and at number 8 we have Frosty Creek. I originally had this quite a lot higher on the list, I think it was going to be at number 5 or something, but once I got past its cool looks, I settled on it being just a good map. So there's a big dip in the middle, contrasted with the tall log that you can go through, which makes gunfights pretty interesting. This map is probably most fun played on Suburbnation, but it's actually good on all of the other game modes, so yeah, that's pretty good. Now that I think about it, this is probably the most average map in the game, so yeah. Coming in at number 7, I have Colosseum. This was probably the hardest map for me to rank. I couldn't decide if I liked it or not, but then I decided that I liked it. This map is legendary on Suburbnation and Gnome Bomb, especially Gnome Bomb has the longest matches in this map for some reason. But however, this map on Team Vanquish actually isn't that great, I would say. The other 2 game modes really make up for it being this high on the list. I don't really care much for the aesthetic that much, but the layout is really interesting. There's the ring outside of the Colosseum, which is really thin, and then the massive inside of the Colosseum, which gets lower and lower until you're on the ground floor. Oh yeah, and can I just say that every character on this map actually excels. From Chompers to Captain Deadbeards. Well, Chomper doesn't really excel, I'll just say here he's at his best. Number 6, I have Zomburbia. I put this map a bit lower than I originally thought I would on this list, but that doesn't mean it's bad by any means. I actually think it's pretty good, but the rest on this list are just a bit better in my opinion. I would say that the main thing that could make this map a little bit better is that there are a few points that just kind of suck a little bit. I can't really explain why, but I just have some bad experiences with them. For me, it's the first and second points that are the worst. It just seems like the people that play when I'm playing on this point are just really annoying for some reason, attacking and defending. The last objective could be a bit better as well. The plants take over almost all of the objectives immediately, but seem to always get stuck on the last one, and I swear it's the same spot every single time. It's like the gallery or something. But then, in the end, the plants end up winning because they realise there's 30 seconds left, stop going for just kills, and then bombard the final objective. So it's very rare that I actually see that legendary zombie victory animation play. So we're in the top 5 now, and at number 5 I've got Aqua Center. This map is the second map on this list that was from Garden Warfare 1, however this map had the benefit of being turned uglier. Nah, I'm joking. The style of Aqua Center actually suits this map better than Garden Center would. We know this because of what Walnut Hills looks like in this game compared to Garden Warfare 1. So you'd think that because Walnut Hills only includes original characters, this map would too, but nope. For some reason this map allows all of the characters, but Walnut Hills doesn't. Anyway, this map is quite simple in its layout with just a city around an aqua center in the middle, but luckily for this map, simple is my middle name. I also like how they added a load of new secret passages, well I say secret but they're not secret at all. They just added passageways and rooms that weren't in the original garden center, which I think is pretty cool, such as the arcade. And one last thing, I like how there is a tiny pocket of plant resistance in this corner of the map. It actually adds on to the idea that Suburbia is being changed into Zomburbia. I think it's just a little more soul than Frontline Flats. It's a shame that we never knew what happened to the War of Suburbia, as it was just scrapped and changed into Neighbourville in the recent games. Number 4, I have Zombopolis. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. This map is only here because of the final objective. It's just so cool and can actually be quite interesting for both teams, making it my favourite one. Yeah, other than that, this map is just a bigger city version of Zomburbia, but I still think that the main map is a bit better. All the objectives are well designed and have a cool look to them as well, so yeah, that's why Zombopolis is at the spot. We're at the top 3 now, and at number 3 I have Frontline Flats. I bet you were expecting this to be at number 1, weren't you?
Oh yeah! Unpredictable!
This is a great map and is really up to Garden Warfare 1 standard. I really like the looks of this map and it really looks like Garden Warfare 1 graphics, which are my favourite. I do like the wall idea. This map would actually be considerably worse if it wasn't here, because super brains and sniper characters would dominate. This map is also great on all game modes. I guess the one it's best on would probably be Gnome Bomb, but that might just be because it's the best game mode. So coming in at the top 2 now, there's only 2 maps left, and the one that I think is just slightly worse than number 1 is Great White North. What a great map though. Snowy style looks so good and the objectives are really well designed. It honestly doesn't even feel like a Garden Warfare 2 map, it's so good. The final objective's also good, not the best though, but it's simple yet effective, and that song as well. The worst objective is probably the first one, just because there's not a lot going on, but I don't even hate it. It's basically just a better version of the first PvZ objective. But yeah, a really good map that looks great and has amazingly designed objectives, but it's not good as the last map on this list. When ranking the Team Vanquish maps, I had to take all of the game modes into consideration, and the map that ticks all of those boxes, in my opinion, is Z-Tech Factory. So yeah, if you were keeping track, you would know this map was here, so the drum roll was literally for nothing, but anyway, I am just always delighted to get this map on rotation when I load into a game. It's just never a boring time, really. All of the characters can be played to their best in this map, from cacti to chompers to pea shooters, because there is just so much to this map. While the aesthetic isn't my favourite in the entire game, I'd probably give the crown to Great White North. I still think this has one of the better looks out of any map. Also, this is how you do portals right. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Time Park. And of course, let's not forget, the coolest Easter egg that actually affects gameplay on this map massively is when the Zombot gets loose. He walks slowly across the roads and can actually squish you if you get too close. And I'm pretty sure he also fires balls and missiles at you. So yeah, that's why Z-Tech Factory is my favourite map in Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2. So yeah, that is my ranking of every single map in Garden Warfare 2. I hope you enjoyed. Drop a like and subscribe, and tell me your rankings or hot takes about mine in the comments below. Anyway, maybe you'll like this video where I rank every single Garden Warfare 1 map.